Hey, thanks so much for downloading the episode on the show today. I give Paula the recap of my 3-hour phone call with our mother, along with some discussion about smells, because you know how much we love odor. This and our ugly and awkward moments of the week. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
I don't feel bad anymore. I've been desensitized. I've killed so many.
Paula?
Do I look like I've never purchased underwear? Was I raised by wolves?
Uncensored as always, it's time for the ugly truth.
Welcome to the Ugly Truth. This is episode 358.
Shit, I don't even know what that was. We are Sisters Who Podcast.
Yes, we are. And I'm Jamie with my sister Paula. Okay, our mother has been trying to get in touch with me for like a week. And she texted, and I always get the whole, well, I've texted everyone. You're the only one that answers the phone. And so...
She has not texted me.
Please, wait till I tell you. So she texted me a couple weeks ago when we were on the show recording that she was on her way to see our dying cousin. And remember the white bat?
In Turlock. Yeah, the white bat.
The white bat died, by the way. And she's like, yeah, he actually passed away when I was walking into the hospital. So I didn't get to see him alive. And I'm like, well, did you see him? She goes, well, yes, I went in after he passed away. And I said, oh, okay.
She's so gross.
Listen, it was for her sister. She did it for her sister. So that's why she went in and said, yes, I saw your son. Yes, he had passed away. Our aunt has, provided a burial for her son and headstone and all of that, because it was important for the son to have a place to go to see, even though he was terrible, it was still his dad. And so that's all taken care of. And it's so funny because, we like to think, oh, well, we're not like that. That's just certain relatives. But I think everybody in the world has that strain of relative where you go, yes, we're related. No, we don't really understand their way of life. And I'm sorry that they passed away, but I'm not devastated. You know what I mean? Doesn't everybody have that family line? It can't just be us. We can't be the only ones. Everybody's got that random cousin. You're like, oh yeah, Cousin Joe. Yeah, he wasn't right.
I don't know, because I think there are some people who actually were raised okay.
Well, we were raised okay.
Oh, shut up.
Well, listen, we weren't forced to affiliate with these people. No, doesn't everybody have the uncle? Everyone have the uncles like, stay away from uncle.
No, I just mean like their parents loved them and raised them right. And they turned out okay. And the reason that was because their parents were raised correctly. And so
right.
It's not like they were, mutts. And so...
Is someone a dog in this scenario?
Am I the dog?
I am the dog. I am the dog. If anyone's the dog, it's you.
What is that from?
Harry Met Sally.
Oh, that's right.
It applies to so much in life. It just applies to so much in life.
I'm just saying, if you come from a line of a good breed, maybe there isn't a runt. I don't know. Maybe there is. I'm just saying.
I think everybody's got the family. If you have a very extensive family, there's always the one little branch where you go, what went wrong with you? What happened?
Yeah, but we have a whole freaking tree of those.
We have a withering tree in the side. We have a diseased tree. We're like, we got to cut all that off. We just got to keep the healthy shit. Get rid of that. Anyway, so she told me about that, and I said, oh, so the angel of death was unable to usher in their final goodbye. You didn't get to escort him off to the stars, did you?
Yeah, really.
Because our mother is the angel of death. So she missed her cue by that much.
He probably knew that she was coming. That's why he died.
He's like, hurry up!
Walked in the door.
Anyway, so there was that. And so, of course, my conversation with our mother went on for 3 hours.
Oh, God.
And this is what happens when you don't keep in touch with your parents, people. You have to do the catch up. And as you know, my life has been an array of crisis off and on for the last couple of months. And nothing to discuss, nothing unusually. It's just life. When you have this many children and this big of a family, something is always going on. So it's just been kind of insane. And I was a little on edge.
Oh.
And I was noticing, and I was looking for it because I was being a bitch, how our mom likes to make everything about her.
Of course.
Listen, it's who she is. I know how to listen to her and know how to kind of bring it on back because she really wants to know. She doesn't want to make it about her, but it ends up that way sometimes.
It's a natural response.
Our sister Allison's the same way. You could tell her I have cancer and she'd be like, oh, you know what? One time, with my RA, I'm telling you.
I thought I had cancer.
Yeah, it's a thing that I think it's a genetic thing, but I don't know. So I'm listening to her. She said something about Stephanie or someone. She goes, well, I don't know because I haven't talked to her in months. I haven't even seen her since da-da-da-da. And I said, you could pick up the phone and use someone else to messenger your thoughts. You have other children. I'm just saying. And so she was like, excuse me? We got into the biggest fight.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, no. She's like, how dare you? And I go, why are you yelling at me about someone else's problem? Like, I'm like, this is the ultimate killing the messenger. I'm like, I am not this person. I do not know why you're talking to me like that. And I do not. And she goes, Jamie, you have been tense since I called you. And I'm like, so why'd you call me? She goes, because you never answered the text.
Oh my God.
It was unbelievable. And of course, I'm furious. And so I start crying, which I hate. I hate it.
Ultimate sign of weakness.
I hate that happens when I'm so angry that I start to cry. It is the worst because then you always have to say, I am not crying because I am sad. I am crying because I am angry.
See, when I start crying because I'm angry, then I cry harder because I'm mad at myself for crying.
I know.
And then all is lost.
It's so true. After all of that, she said, have you ever thought about seeing someone? And I said, how dare you? I said, I have been suggesting that you go to a therapist for 15 fucking years. And I'm like, it would be great if you would. I go, but I don't think you want to unpack that bag. That's a lot.
We have been asking her to get medicated and to see someone for ever. She can't even get a goddamn haircut.
Okay. I know. Anyway, we got past all of that and moved on. We actually did soothe and move forward, but I was tense and I really didn't want to talk to her. And it wasn't that I don't like talking to her. It's just that it takes up so much time and I don't have a lot. And I know that there are people, especially women out there, who have lost their mothers at a young age and would do anything to have an argument or a 3-hour discussion, but they're not your mother. Okay, this is not your mother. This is mine. And it is what it is. My mom's been preparing for her death since she was 30.
I know.
This is who she is.
I think it also helps at one point she just gave up. And so she decided to live her own life. She's like, fuck you guys. I'm out of here.
That's really freeing for a woman. It's very freeing to stop caring about others and moving on. It really does brighten one's face.
Even if it is your children.
Oh, and that was, of course, she always has to get the sidekicks in. Like, she's like, well, I wouldn't understand. I would never see any of my children. And of course, this was the conversation where I could have been like, did you ever wonder why? But I didn't, because that is something I don't really want to wade into. That's water I do not want to wade into.
Yeah, she saw my little post about Victor and I breaking up, and she made a comment, but don't you think that would have been a good opportunity to call me? But no.
I suggested that, shockingly. So the conversation, ultimately, we talk about her health, of course, and then she tells me all the people that we know who are dying or died. And then I can't, when am I going to see everybody? That conversation. And so we made some, pseudo plans, and then
because we have to bring everything to her on a silver platter.
But the reality is that we just, she needed to see what was the what, and she wanted to tell me what the what was. And of course, then, our stepdad in the background making as much noise as humanly possible so he can be a part of the conversation.
All the coughing and sneezing and laughing and
he was
talking.
He was installing a microwave.
Oh.
So that was nice and loud for us.
Why didn't she go in another room, for God's sakes?
I think that she likes the distraction.
Are they just old? Is that what happens? They just are unaware, or?
I'm not sure. I'm not really.
It just reminds me, well, the squirrels are back. Your father thinks it's personal this time.
Yeah. Oh my God, I hit a squirrel yesterday in my driveway.
I read that.
I couldn't believe it. It was a gray one. And I even slowed down so I wouldn't hit it, but it was literally running straight toward me. Running straight toward me. And so I stopped and I rolled up the windows because I've experienced that before. And I wasn't going to get swatted in the face with a tail again.
Maybe it was suicide by car.
Those gray squirrels are suicides, man. They are suicides.
Dad used to say squirrels play chicken all the time.
They're so dumb. And so I just rolled up on it and it just ran. And I was like, well, I mean, you basically flung yourself toward a vehicle. I don't know how to avoid it.
And if you were going slow, you just crunched right over it like a cockroach.
This is what happens, though, and this has happened to me before. It gets stuck up under the car, the undercarriage,
Something
and it
got
burns.
stuck in my undercarriage.
Exactly, and I say that every time. And so for the next 2 days, I smell burning. Gross. And I'm like, God damn it. Until it fries, and then it drops off somewhere, I assume on the road. But I'm sick of it. And it's like, why am I the only one that's just admitting it publicly that we're hitting squirrels in this area? I can't be the only one. I can't possibly.
Well, what do you want to create an association or something? I mean, Squirrels Anonymous?
No, I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad anymore. I've been desensitized. I've killed so many. It's crazy.
You should start mounting squirrel heads on your wall.
There's nothing left. They're walnuts. I don't even know what to say. Anyway, so our mom is fine.
Well, that's a big relief.
So I'm going to transition into this. I saw this statement on Twitter about a month ago, and I've been dying to use it because it's me. This comedian, I wish I could remember who it was, but she said, I'm a smell bitch.
A smell bitch?
I go, what the hell is a smell bitch? She goes, I have the most acute sense of smell. I can smell anything anywhere and go, what is that? And I went, oh my God, that's totally me. I do the same thing. I can walk into any environment and go, why am I smelling curry? Or why am I smelling jasmine? In this unusual area that shouldn't be smelling of anything.
You know what? Our mother did pass down to us the nose of a bloodhound.
We really do, which is why I have super fun doing wine tasting because your sense of smell and taste are connected. And so I will taste a wine and I'll smell and taste at the same time. I'm like, why am I smelling leather? They're like, oh, you smell the brown leather. How interesting. No one does, and so it's really super fun to do that.
See, I can't necessarily pinpoint the odor, but I'll just walk in somewhere and I'm like, what is that smell?
So I was at the grocery store yesterday or the day before yesterday, and I was with Mackenzie, my 20-something, and we were waiting at the deli. She wanted some turkey. And so I said, all right, well, I'm going to go run and get my other things, and then I'll come back and we'll take off. And so I'm standing there with her after I come back, and a woman approaches, and she's behind me, so I can't see her. And I immediately start smelling her. Not on purpose. The waft of odor is coming. And I didn't know it was a woman. And so I'm standing there and I was just standing there, minding my own business. And then I took a breath out of my nose, God forbid. And normally you smell, the Chinese food, you smell the bakery and it smells yummy. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, and I put like little doors on my nostrils and I went, what is that?
You didn't say it out loud though, did you?
No.
Oh, thank God.
But it was definitely a significant odor of dirty human. And so I'm like, what is that? And so because we're human, I do another mild smell with my nose. And I went, okay, that's really bad. And it's that sour, dirty clothing, dirty skin smell.
It's not even summer.
I know. And I'm afraid to look because I know my reaction is going to be repellent.
Well, I'm sure the look on your face is already like the look on my face right now, where your brows are furrowed and like your nose is kind of puckered and you're just like, what the fuck, God.
Well, not only that, but I think my eyes are the size of dishes. Like, why would someone smell like that in here?
And of course, if I have any kind of long sleeve, I'm already putting like a mask on my face.
So I'm definitely closing off the orifices in my face so I can't smell or taste anything. And I turned to Mackenzie, my daughter, and I'm like, do you fart? And she's like, what? And I'm like, oh my God, it's just me. Shit. And so I turned around casually to see this person, this human who is filthy. And they're also wearing sandals. And I'm like, okay, I can't with this. And her hair's pretty greasy and she's digging through her purse looking for something. And I'm like, okay, she's not homeless. I was judging 2 ways from Sunday. And I'm like, why are you not showered? Like, what are you doing here? It's like, I couldn't even.
Maybe
the
she
odor
just had to
was
run to the grocery store and she didn't take a shower that day or something, or the day before. I don't know.
Paula, we're talking, 2 weeks max.
No way. No
Paula, she was so
way.
gross. It was so bad, Paula, that I was like dizzy. I said, Mackenzie, I'm like, did you not smell that? She goes, what are you talking about? That woman smelled so bad. I go, my mouth is tingling. I am lightheaded from it. I was accosted odorously. And she's like, you are insane. And I said, I can't believe no one smelled it. It's like, my God, it was the worst smell on the planet.
God.
So she's like, you're weird. And I said, yes, I am. And I said, that's just unbelievable. Don't ever, just, can you spritz a little something when you're going to go out?
Jeez.
So there was that.
Like a fire hose?
Paula, you could have dipped her in some kind of cleanse, any kind of that. You know that blue cleaner they have at barber shops? She could have just took a jump in that and would have been fine. God. And so then we went to Bath and Body Works and, spring is here. And so they're having all their new flavors are out. And I always call it flavor because they smell like food or fruit or whatever.
I know, right?
I love it there. I love Bath and Body Works. It's like my biggest thing. If women ran the world, Bath and Body Works would be like Google.
You know what?
Everybody would be all in on it.
If I stay in that store too long, I get a migraine because of
you're like,
all the
okay,
odors.
mother.
No, it's just it's overwhelming my senses, and I'm just like, this is too much.
Yeah, it's changed a bit. I agree that it used to be that way, but they don't, it's not like that anymore for some reason. I don't know if they've hermetically sealed everything and they only have certain things you can smell from now, but
I don't know.
I agree though. It can be quite fragrant.
And they're always trying to shove a little blue bag in my hand, and I'm just like,
they
I
don't do that
want
anymore.
The bag. Okay.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore now. They have baskets, like little hand baskets, and they're just at the front, and that's the end of it.
It was like
So
Victoria's
they've changed
Secret where they asked me like 5 times. This was. I told you that story, but when I was pregnant with who was I pregnant with? It must have been Ryan. I was probably a good 7 months pregnant, and I needed to buy new underwear, and so I'm sifting through their 5 for $25 or something like that.
Yeah,
and I had at least 4 people ask me if I needed help within the first 5 minutes we were there.
Oh my God.
And I'm just looking through underwear, and finally she says, hi, can I help you? I'm like, I've been buying underwear for myself forever. I don't need help. So
you lost it.
because they kept asking me if I needed help, and I'm like, do I look like I've never purchased underwear? Was I raised by wolves?
Thank God for pregnant women. I swear to God.
So
really
irritated. So I'm like, told Victor, I'm like, let's get the fuck out of here. So we left.
You know what though? I mean, really, I'm so grateful that that pregnant women are out and about, because if it wasn't for them, no one would know the truth about their annoyances. Only pregnant women would walk in and go, do I look like I don't know how to buy underwear for myself? Look at me, because a normal woman wouldn't do that. A normal woman wouldn't, but a pregnant woman will absolutely fucking tell you.
So then
stop it.
We went to Motherhood, the next store, and we walked in there, and I was sifting through the rack, and the woman's just like, hi, how are you today? And Victor's like, thank you. So
that's hilarious.
He was so afraid I was going to lose my shit.
For the love of God, leave us alone. You don't want any
just
of this.
Let her
I promise.
In peace.
Please leave us. Oh my God. So we go to Bath and Body Works, and I need things because I go every 3 months, and then when I run out of stuff, I go back, and by then there's some amazing flavors and scents to purchase. Mm-hmm. As you know, every woman has their smell. They have things they like my daughter loves anything with vanilla in it, which I can't even fathom. It's so disgusting to me, but she loves vanilla. And then everybody's got the thing that they like. I like things that are a little bit cleaner, more floral, and that smells like soap to everybody else. So anyway,
I like the musk.
Yeah, see, now I know exactly what kind of flavors you would like.
Yeah.
So we're going through, and she's like, ooh, smell this one. And I wish I could tell you the flavor that it was so that you can smell it yourself if you ever go.
God.
Something ivy. Something ivy. So she goes, ooh, this smells really good. So she hands it to me, and I go, okay. So I smell the candle, and I smell it, and I look at her, and I go, this smells like vagina.
God. Did you immediately like exhale out of your nose to try and get that
I was like,
smell out of it?
and she's like, what? And I said, it does. And she's like, all right, I guess I'm not getting that flavor. And I was laughing. I go, well, it doesn't smell like that to you. You should get it. She goes, well, now all I'm going to smell is vagina. I can't get it. Jeez. And I said, I'm sorry. It doesn't smell like dirty vagina. It just smells like genitals.
Well, I mean, if it doesn't smell like dirty vaginas, then in general, a vagina just doesn't have an odor.
No, that's not true.
Like a sweet kind of vaginal smell.
It was a sweet, warm, musky smell, and it didn't smell bad. Like, ew, this smells like a diseased crotch. It smelled very feminine and
smells like
very
yeast infection.
What is this? What is this smell? We have yeast infection and VD. And I'm like, no, this is called discharge. Very popular.
Oh my God.
No.
Those are like gifts you buy for guys.
Well,
here, this one's called pussy.
You know what?
I love it.
If we Googled it right now, there probably is.
I don't want to Google it.
You know it. Is there a pussy candle?
Oh my God.
If we could hear people, they'd be like, yes, there is.
That's what I'm getting for Christmas.
Anyway, so I thought it was really funny. I'm like, man, my sense of smell is just on. It is on fire.
After a while, though, at that store, you smell too many things and you just can't smell anything at all.
Oh, here we go.
They do, don't they?
It's called Vulva Original.
You know, I really struggle with that word.
Real vaginal scent. And of course, they have a man smelling his hand. And they show a woman smelling her crotch of her underwear.
What?
Yup.
Vaginal smelling candle.
It's called no. It's not a candle. It's oil. It's called Vulva Original, and it's on Amazon.
Smelling oil.
Why?
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it looks like a cologne box.
It's some kind of, I don't know. Apparently, if you just like the smell, you can put it on your hand.
Oh,
and smell
God.
it
They
all
have
day.
the grossest guy smelling his hand.
I told you.
Oh, my God. They have this lady like smelling the crotch of her panties.
I told you. I know, but I knew you had to see it for yourself. You had to see it for yourself.
Oh my
God. Before we move on to something else, Daryl and I went out to dinner last night.
Yes.
And we were talking, and our daughter showed up and she met with us to have a quick bite. And he was talking about something. He knew someone whose daughter did cheerleading, and he thought it was this other type of cheer. And so he showed us the pictures, and I go, wow. I wonder what it's like to have your mom be prettier than you. Like, that must be really difficult, because this woman was beautiful. Mm-hmm. She was Mexican, and her daughter wasn't hideous, but nothing compared to her mother. Her mother was just stunning. Mm-hmm. And I said, man, she's really pretty. And I go, look at her hair. And I'm showing Malia the picture. And Daryl had this weird look on his face. And I said, what? He goes, nothing. I go, oh, you think she's beautiful, don't you? He goes, well, she reminds me of you. I'm like,
Oh,
she don't look like me. She don't look like me. He goes, yes, she does. And I'm like, I am not that dark. I'm not that Mexican looking. I mean, I am Mexican, but I don't look that Mexican. And I said, I see. I said, you know, it just now occurred to me how much you like Latin women. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just found that really surprising. I don't know why I never noticed that before, because he thought Jennifer Love Hewitt is like the one and only gorgeous woman of the world.
Until she
forever.
Became like a classroom mom.
Well, yes, she became the PTA mom of celebs. But before that, she was beautiful. But she had a really big set of boobs that are natural and a big butt. And so she looks kind of Mexican, I guess. So, I mean, I was giving him so much crap about this woman. And I said, I see. I said, so shall we? I said, is this it for you? Is this, do you know her? Have you spoken to her? And Malia is like on the floor going, what is going on right now? And so I look at her and I wink just so she knows that I'm not serious, because she was getting a little stressed.
She's just like, oh my God, are you guys breaking up?
It's like, what's happening right now, Dad? I was like, who is this woman, Dad? It was really funny.
I know. Isn't that funny? Like, Ryan, I think, is starting to develop a type. The last few girls that he likes, they've been Mexican.
Really? He's
I
got good
know.
taste. He likes some spicy.
I guess, but
What was funny is I was actually thinking about this after that conversation because, of course, I immediately get, insecure because she was a beautiful woman and I'm not. I'm
guys
not as
aren't
beautiful.
blind. I mean, my God.
No. And I said, so who other, and when he tells me that he works with someone, I immediately look her up to see what she looks like.
Oh.
I don't do it all the time, but I have done it. Mm-hmm. Depending on if I'm insecure or not, usually depending on my hormone levels is when I will do it.
I'm always insecure constantly, and I don't know why.
I am not insecure. I'm not worried about Daryl leaving me for another Mexican woman. Oh, you were saying that Ryan has a type.
Yes.
And so when we were having this discussion about this beautiful woman that he saw, I was thinking about it. I'm like, I know a lot of men that I have actually dated or have seen them also date other women. And when they are the most tumultuous, these specific examples, the women have been Mexican. And they can't get enough of them. But there's constant fighting or there's constant passion or it's just really tumultuous in some way emotionally. Uh-huh. And then they always end up marrying some little white girl.
I know,
who
right?
has like very simple, simple hair, simple features, very, very Caucasian. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I always found it funny how they had this huge, bigger than life relationship and then they cut that off and just marry someone completely different.
It's because guys like things that are simple.
I think it's just a lot of work to be with us. I think that's the thing. I mean, Daryl, half the time I feel like he's just clinging to, barely hanging on with me because I'm a lot.
Yes.
And sometimes so are you, by the way.
No, I'm saying like I agree. We are a lot.
We're a lot. And so what's funny is there will always come a crescendo where I'll start to cry and go, why are you with me? This is so hard. He goes, I would literally have it no other way. I would be bored with anybody else. And I'm like, that is the sweetest thing you've ever said to me.
There are just some guys that actually I would say most guys, they would just prefer it to be simple. Most guys don't want to fight and they don't want to, have to deal with a lot of fuss and they just prefer to have a simple life, a simple job, do their 1 year paid vacation and buy the lake house when they're 40.
I have no interest in being with a man like that.
God,
that sounds boring. That sounds so boring.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's funny though. So it's like these men that I know or have been in relationships with, I always found it astounding how they would be with me for, a year or two. And then a year later, they're married to some very different, simple person.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I don't want to think about it anymore. And I always wonder, I'm like, God, I'm sorry that it was so difficult for you to be with someone who had passion and challenged you all the time. But some people just aren't interested. They're just not, like you said, they're like, I don't want to deal with all of that.
Yeah, I have a friend that, sometimes we're pretty close and sometimes we just get in these like, I wouldn't say like knockdown dragouts, but we'll like start debating about stuff and then I just get like crazy, and
you downshift to
and
your
the
real
thing
self.
Is, I listen to the things that I'm saying and I'm like, why am I saying these things? Like it's legit crazy. I know this is crazy. And I'll even start it by saying, this is crazy, but, and so by the end, I'm like, why do you even put up with me? I said, I'm crazy. And he'll just be like, yeah, he says, normally I wouldn't. He says, but I tolerate you're crazy. So.
Aw, well, that's a good friend.
No, he's a very good friend. So.
You want to keep him around for, for friends, for as far as that goes. Because it is true. It is hard to, for men specifically, a woman who has a lot, it takes a special kind of person. And those are the people I want to know, by the way.
I just got into another argument with a friend last night. I said, well, I'm going to go to bed. I said, I'm going to eat a bowl of Cheerios and take a shower. And they said, well, you probably shouldn't eat the bowl of Cheerios. It's just empty carbs before you go to bed. And I just said, I'm like, are you saying I need to watch my carbs? I'm like, do I look fat to you? And they're just like, no, that's not what I said. And I'm just like, then why do I need to watch?
That is exactly what you fucking
I'm like,
said.
then why do I need to watch my carbs? And
I can eat. I'm going to eat. And just for that, I'm going to eat Cheerios for the next 3 weeks. And you're going to say nothing about it.
And then I said, I'm like, for your information, I said, I'm 5'3" and 133 pounds. And I've had 2 children.
So
I said,
shut up.
I look pretty fucking good. So
I will eat my Cheerios with sugar on top.
I said, I don't know about any other friends of yours, but you know what?
That was a dumb thing to say.
And then he's like, you're not being nice. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm like, you're not being nice.
Empty carbs, my ass.
So then I get a picture this morning of shark and waters, like shark infested waters.
Okay, well, let's do our ugly and awkward moments of the week.
We were talking about something. I can't even remember what it was, but I was...
Me and you or someone? You and someone?
Ryan and Victor. And I was trying to tell them, because we were watching country music videos or something like that, or they were watching country music videos, and I was in the kitchen doing something, and I was talking about Footloose, and there was that scene where they crossed the county lines and they went to that bar. And then Rusty, she started dancing with like that big bellied guy.
Oh my God, I know. I remember that part.
And so then Willard came over and he started to get pretty pissed off because he was drunk and, you know, he was getting jealous. They started like exchanging words and stuff. And so for some reason, there's that part where he's just like, hey, mister. And he's like, when's the last time you've seen your dick partner? And so... I was trying to say that line to Ryan and Victor, and for some reason, every time I went to say it, I started laughing hysterically.
You couldn't say it?
I couldn't say it at all. I tried like 6 times. And then, of course, they're just staring at me like with not even smiling. They're just like, what's the line? And I'm just like... And I'm like,
you know, couldn't say it.
I couldn't get it out. I still can't tell. It's been like 4 days, and
you still can't say it without laughing hysterically.
No, I don't know.
That's happened to me before.
I don't know why it's so damn funny to me.
I don't know, but something triggers when you hear that or see that scene in your mind.
The only other time I can remember this happening to me is I was trying to tell somebody about something I saw on Friends once, and I don't even know. It was something Ross said, but I don't know. So I don't know what happens to you when that happens, but
I don't know. It's almost like you just find yourself so damn hysterical that you're like, I can't even tell you. It's that's happened to me before. Remember, there was a time period where I couldn't say underpants without laughing. Do you remember that?
No.
I was trying to say underpants, and I couldn't say it without. I couldn't even finish saying the word without laughing hysterically. I'm like, what is going on with me? Why can't I say underpants without laughing? And now, of course,
you're like, how old am I?
Well, not only that, but it's like, who says underpants? Like, that's a dumb word. I say underwear or panties or thong or whatever. Sometimes I call underwear based on what it is. Like, I'm like, oh, I've got my bikinis or I've got my boy cuts on or whatever. I never say I've got my underpants on. What am I, a 1960 man? It's like, what is that? But I said it, and for like a week, so I would try to test myself and say underpants, and I'd start laughing, and I was like, this is the dumbest thing. What is wrong with my mind?
Well, you know who says underpants?
Who?
Mom.
She does?
Yes.
Ugh. Maybe that's why I was laughing.
Underpants.
God, that's so weird.
Probably because she's old. I don't know. It might be an old
Honestly, when our mother, does leave this earth, think about all the material we've gotten out of her. I mean, she's a character and a half. And she is one of the reasons why we are the way we are. So it's hard. First of all, I do not hate our mother. I love our mother very much. Mm-hmm. She's as flawed as anyone else on the planet. And I think what happens is when you become an adult, all adults recognize how fucking crazy their parents are. All of them, everybody. I told Daryl, I said, I hate how aware I am of our psyche because now I know that one day our children will be sitting with their partners going, can you believe how fucking nuts our parents are? Like, how did we even come out of this alive? You know that's going to happen.
I hope not. I mean, I would
and
hope
then we pass it along.
I hope that we would have done a better job. I mean, seriously.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way in hell
Paula,
that we couldn't have done at least somewhat of a better job than our parents.
That's not the point. We all are flawed people. So we will always pass along some kind of crazy to our children, and they will reflect sitting in their bed with their partner going, how did you live through that, my darling? I don't understand it. I'm so glad you're here and you're better than they are. And is that the ultimate goal, though? Is that our kids are better than us?
I even ask Ryan that sometimes. I'm like, Ryan, are you okay? I'm like, do you think you're going to need therapy when you're older?
He's like, yes, mother, absolutely.
He's like, no. He's like, I think I'm okay. I'm like,
I'll
all
send
right,
you the
good.
bill. Yeah, well, he hasn't hit his 20s yet.
I'm like, all right, good.
He hasn't met someone who goes, honey, babe, that's not normal. You need to see someone.
Yeah, that's true.
That hasn't happened yet. Okay, here's my awkward moment. I don't know. This is truly an UGG move. We need to get Daryl back on track with his diet. And I don't mean he's gotten fat or anything. I just mean internally, his body's going, hey, what are you doing? Stop eating jelly beans at 10 o'clock at night. Oh. And so he had some blood work done. And so the doctor was like, why don't you reconfigure your diet a little bit before we panic? Mm-hmm. And so I told him, I said, we're going to get really super strict for 10 days. And then after 10 days, we can relax a little bit. And he's like, okay. So for 10 days, we were super strict. And so last weekend, I said, okay, we're going to have broiled chicken. And, it's going to be delicious. It's just no carbs. And so I took a bag of chicken out of the freezer. And it was 3 big chicken breasts with skin on and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so something happened. And I took the bag and I set it on the dining room table and ran to go do something super quick because it's something couldn't wait. So I set it on the table and forgot about it. And that was at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Now, currently, because spring is here, I've been buying a lot of cut flowers. So there's a vase with cut flowers on it. Mm-hmm. So no one saw it. And so it was 11:30 at night. We had something else for dinner because I'd completely forgotten that I was going to make chicken. Okay. And I completely erased it from my brain. We ended up having squash or something. Something completely different. Malia comes home from going out and it's almost midnight and she comes in and she goes, what's this? And she lifts up a bag of thawed flesh that had been sitting on the table for almost 12 hours. She goes, what is
disgusting.
This? Ruined the tablecloth. Completely ruined it. It was covered in.
Soaked through?
Yes. Ugh. And I was like, and so casually, Daryl's like, I don't know. What is that? And I turned and I look at him, I'm like, we were supposed to have chicken tonight. And he's looking at me. He's like, what? And I said, I left a bag of chicken out and completely erased it from my brain. And it just sat there for the whole day. Literally, we went to Costco. We had done all this stuff. Not once did I see that bag of chicken again. And never did it return into my mind. And so, needless to say, he's like, I'm going to try to wash and get this out. And I'm like, it's blood. It's not coming out.
Just put it back in the freezer and then throw it away.
Oh, no, we just threw everything away. Yeah, we threw it all away.
See, but I refreeze things because I don't want it to smell.
And then you throw it away frozen?
Yeah.
Who was it that we knew that froze the garbage?
I think Mom and Paul do that.
Why?
I remember one time finding a frozen bag of roast beef lunch meat, and I'm like, "What is this?" And Mom says, "Well, it went bad, and so Paul didn't want to throw it away until it was close to trash day, so he just froze it." And I'm like, "That's actually kind of a good idea."
And now you do it. See, it was all not for naught.
I've had bad experiences with old chicken bags or cartons in the trash can.
Have you ever left perishable items in the trunk from the grocery store?
No.
One time, and I think I was pregnant when I did it, I put a gallon of milk in the pantry.
Gallon of what?
Milk.
Ugh.
And I just forgot, and I went in there, and I'm like, why is there milk in the pantry?
Do you know, I
I
almost killed my son last night.
What?
We were standing there talking, and he was trying to show me a bruise on his leg. So he lifted his leg up on the pantry door. He put it on the door handle, his foot. And I'm just like, get that foot off the door handle. And then...
Did he have a sock on?
No!
No. Did you sanitize the crap out of that thing?
I forgot. So anyway.
Paula! Oh my God.
I'll do it. So then the next thing he does,
You better
is
use gloves.
he gets out a glass, and then he gets out the milk, and I'm like, what do you think you're doing? He's like, what? He's like, I just wanted a glass of milk.
I'm gonna throw up.
I'm like, you're killing me, Ryan. Like literally killing me right now.
Like, did he do a deep dive on you and know that you hate milk and feet?
Oh, he knows.
What happened?
He knows. And
So he knows what he's doing.
So then I walk into the bathroom and he's following me because he's telling me something. And then he starts,
get away from me!
Then he starts coughing. And I'm like, that's it! Oh my God. I'm like, get out! And he is laughing so hard he can't even breathe.
Oh my God. Do I have to show you the picture of the coughing cat? Get away from me!
Because I'm like, I can't handle this.
I'm like, you are a walking enigma of everything I find grotesque. Now get out of my life.
I couldn't handle it. I couldn't get away from him.
That is awful. I'm like, is there anything? Are your hands clammy? Would you like to hold my hand?
I didn't even want to know. I'm just like, and then he pretended to lift up his foot and pour the milk on his feet. I'm like, get out!
No. That is beyond the pale and cannot be forgiven. Good God.
So such a jokester.
That's hilarious.
Well, I mean, that part was funny, but the rest was just unacceptable.
Like, this is going to drive you to do something terrible. You don't want that. I'd be like, Ryan, you've never had my wrath. You really haven't.
God.
Do not tempt me.
Oh my
I don't care if you're bigger than I am.
And I don't care if I'm yelling at you for a glass of milk. It doesn't matter.
Send me the bill when you go to therapy in your 20s.
Right.
And then we'll have that discussion. He's like, my mother had this strange obsession with milk, and now I'm scared. I'm scarred for life.
Milk and feet. I don't know what to do.
I don't know. Now I have a milk and foot fetish, and I can't get away from it.
She kept showing me these videos of people popping their zits, and
oh my God.
Oh God. You know what? Maybe I am
love
screwing him up. Jeez.
Maybe you are. Well, but hey, he'll be a better person than you. That's the end game. That's the end game.
Olivia is obsessed with stretching her nose because little whiteheads come out.
I can't. Stop it. Get her those. Oh, you know how to cure her of that?
What?
Get her those things where you moisten them and you put them on your nose and you rip them off.
Well, the thing is there's nothing there. Like, her nose is nothing.
I'd be like, Olivia, that's dirt. It's called wash your damn face.
And so I'm just like, I don't know where these things are coming from. So now every day she goes and sits in the sink and like stretches her nose.
She's like, we are.
And then she's just like, Mom, she's like, do you think if I stretched my cheek, something might come out? And
no.
I'm like, just stop, Olivia. Just stop.
She's already assumed the position. She knows the sitting in the sink rule. How did she do that?
She just climbs up there. I don't know. She's like,
do not let her find your extractor.
No.
Because that will be the end of it.
You know what? That thing doesn't work. I just use my nails.
It does. You know what? It hurts. I mean, the best way to do it, when I was a kid, when you have whiteheads, you just poke it with a safety pin and just go to town.
That's what we did. One time, Victor used the extractor on his forehead. The next morning he woke up, he looked like he had a rash on his forehead.
He didn't know how to do it.
So I'm just like, what happened to your forehead?
Although, honestly, if Daryl borrowed my extractor, I'd be like, you can have it.
Oh, God. I wouldn't share it with anybody.
I don't want it back. You can just have that thing. It's metal. You can sterilize. Nope. No. I don't want anything to do with it. It's yours.
Just throw it in the garbage. They're like $5. I'll buy another one.
Yeah, it's fine. If you don't want to use it again, that's fine. But just put a V on that or just put your name on it so I know it's yours. And don't ever touch mine again. Same with I don't share nail clippers or anything.
Yeah, I struggle with that stuff too. I had a bucket of all my like nail items and clipper items and everything, and then of course someone's just like, "Where's the toenail clippers?" I'm like, ugh. I'm just like,
I don't know. You know what? That used to happen to me. I'm like, here, you have your own. Everyone has their own. Do not touch mine. And then sure as shit, mine are missing. I'm like,
always.
Where are they? Where are they? What? I think I had to borrow them. You think you had to borrow them. Well, guess what? You just have another pair. And so every time my kids either move out or something changes, I'll find like 10 nail clippers.
I know.
And I just throw them away. I can't. I don't save those things.
I'll never live down the picture of, it was like Christmas Eve and I was cooking a bunch of stuff and I had my little Santa Claus striped socks on. and slippers. And so I took
Yeah.
a picture of me sitting on the couch with my feet crossed. And I said, well, this little elf needs a break. And so I took a picture because I had my feet propped up on my coffee table. And Jamie's just, I think you said it. And you're like, what's with the giant toenail clippers?
Were they sitting somewhere on
They
the
were
floor
right there
or
on the
something?
table. I didn't even notice them. And I'm just like, oh, I was mortified.
It is, Paula, I am so meticulous before I post anything anywhere.
Well, I am now.
And you know why? Because we were so goddamn judgy of those dick pics on Craigslist. You know, it's like you see one errant, dirty anything in the background and you're just like, you're disgusting, you know, save for the fact that you're showing us your genitals in the world,
I mean, let's
you know.
start with the obvious. Okay.
Yes, your sad little penis. But other than that, the filthy laundry on the floor.
Why
God.
do men really believe that women want to see that? I mean, honestly.
I don't know.
I don't know why they
know.
truly
Stop it.
believe that we are turned on by that.
I know we have to go, but
Oh, yeah, sorry.
We'll on our next show we'll carry on this discussion because I have something I wanted to tell you about something I saw.
Okay, so that's it for us today. I hope you had a good weekend, and spring has sprung, so hopefully we'll start to see warmer weather, which means it might be time to shop for some new clothes, and Amazon is a great place to do that. That's where I like to do my shopping because I'll just try them on. If they don't fit, I'll just throw them in my closet. So go to uglytruth.com, click on the Amazon button, and do some shopping. I think that's a wrap, so we will see you on Wednesday.
Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.